So there it is, my heavy-duty workbench that I built for under $100. Of course, for me it cost half that because I had some supplies laying around. But for your full supply list, it's going to cost you $100, just a bit less. And I'll give you the details on that. My workbench is 8 foot long and 27 inches deep. I have a 4 by 8 foot sheet of pegboard to hang things on. I have a 21 inch deep recessed shelf underneath with plenty of space for storage as well as storage underneath. The shelf is recessed, and I like that for a couple reasons. When I'm standing at the workbench, it gives me leg room so I don't rub my shins, and also if I need to squat down in front of my work, I'm not going to bang my knees on the shelf. On the workstation are all the tools that I use to complete the job. Not all of them are absolutely necessary, but I do recommend them. I have a power saw with cross-cut blade as well as a sheathing or plywood blade. Tape measure, power drill with driver bit, a framing or carpenter square, speed square. I used a couple drill bits to pre-drill my screw holes, as well as a red pencil. You can use a regular one. Did use a pair of gloves. Hammer, torpedo level, couple clamps, and a guide bar, which are optional. And I always wear safety glasses. I cut two 2x6s down to 8 foot. This gave me two 2-foot pieces of 2x6 to mount inside my 8-foot pieces, giving me a frame for my tabletop 27 inches deep and 8 foot long. I then cut my plywood 27 inches wide to fit the frame, leaving me a piece of plywood 8 foot long and 21 inches wide. This would be my recessed shelf, only I would have to cut the recessed shelf down to fit inside. I cut 10 inches off. I temporarily hung my tabletop frame at a height that would be comfortable for my working needs, and I leveled it off at this spot. After doing that, I mounted my legs inside the tabletop frame. I cut my 2x4s at 93 inches. That made them fit perfectly inside the legs of my bench, and I added side supports. The leftover pieces from my 93 inch cut were mounted underneath the tabletop for support. These plans allow for a maximum use of your wood with little waste. I lost two 3-inch pieces of 2x4 in waste and one 10-inch piece of plywood 21 inches wide. There will be some waste on your 4x4 cuts for your legs, but because I recycled, I had no waste at all. Here's the supply list and cost of this workbench. I bought two 2x6s 10 foot long for $9.84, two 2x4s 10 foot long for $6.44, one 4x8 sheet of 3/4 inch plywood at $18.97, one 4x8 foot pegboard at $15.45. My total cost was $50.70 because I had the other supplies. You will also need two 4x4s 8 foot long at $23, one box of 3-inch drywall screws. You can use decking screws, but I use drywall screws, $6. One box of 2-inch drywall screws, $6. You're only going to use a few of those screws, so it's really not that much of a cost factor. But I used a coarse thread for the framing, and I used fine threaded drywall screws for the sheathing. That brings our total to $85.70. Add in a few pegboard hooks, another $4. An additional 2x4x10 at $3.22. Now I didn't need this because I had a couple 2-foot long pieces that I cut down for the bracing underneath the sheathing here. That brings your total to $92.92. Add in approximately $7, it will be less, approximately $7 tax. Your total is $99.92. And trust me, you can spend less for this project. So there you have it. Heavy duty workbench, less than $100. I'd say it's a pretty nice one for that. Do-it-yourself projects are a great way to save money, and because I also recycle wood, I didn't have to purchase the table legs or some of the supports for this project. I apply the savings to more tools or other projects that I have at hand. I went out and bought myself a flooring saw. This is going to enable me to do rip cuts, cross cuts, as well as miter cuts for my flooring and my trim work for the jobs that I have at hand. And for old scrap wood that I can't use for projects, I'll just throw it in the wood burner and heat the house with. Well, I hope this helps someone out. For now, this is The Ghost. I send you my peace.